So, fighting games, am I right? God, I'm horrible at intros. Fighting games are an extremely fun concept at its core. It's a game where you fight awesome one-on-one or sometimes 2 or 3 battles against an opponent on equal footing. However, since the conception of a fighting game, I've had friends who just don't enjoy them at all. When I say fighting game, I mean the high skill-based games, not games like Ultimate Ninja and Naruto, where every character play is relatively the same and there's barely any depth to be found. Sure, you might be thinking that it's okay to dislike a game. It is. You can hate on whatever kind of game you want. People still rage in the reviews of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. But for people like my friends, it's not that they don't enjoy them because fighting games aren't their thing. Having personally asked them myself, in summary, they'd be more willing to play if they could get to a level where they felt the playing field was fair. To be honest, I understand that. When I bring a new person into a fighting game, that playing field is unfair. I have all my experience with fighting games and knowledge of the characters I play, and even the ones I don't, I'm a jack-of-all-trades type player, while the new player is only left with my instructions on how to play and is left to figure it out. If I later destroy that person in several rounds, the new player is just going to assume that I'm either too good, they have no talent, or the situation I have, that the playing field was not fair. Please bear in mind that the content in this video is designed for people who play the game at a casual level and are struggling to enjoy fighting games as a whole. This isn't for your pro as heck I want to be the best kind of person. There are other channels for that sort of thing. Now, these people aren't exactly new to fighting games. There are 4 people I associate with. I will not name them, but since this video is for those types of people, I will give them associative nicknames. These might apply to people you know, so if you know anyone similar to these people, send them this video. I don't know, maybe it'll help them, or offend them, who knows. Anyway, these 4 people I will refer to as Larry, Spike, Timmy, and you may have heard this one before, John. To give a brief description, Larry is the dream child of the bunch, considering he still does his best to play these games, despite his lack of ability. He's got some understanding of the games he plays, but for whatever reason can't quite hold his own when pit against someone else. In my Larry's case, he panics when thrown into a live match, and often messes up his inputs or combos, doing things he's not intending to do. Spike is the one you'd expect to like fighting games the most. He's passionate and fiery, all good things to have in a fighting game. But due to 1 or 2 bad experiences in attempting to learn, they've got this idea in their head that particularly complex fighters just aren't for them. And would rather play low-skill fighting games where all the characters played the same, just for the enjoyment factor. Timmy is someone who was brought into the interest of fighting games through a specific concept that they like. In this example, our Timmy was interested in Mortal Kombat and sought to learn fighting games in preparation for the new game. However, this one is completely new to fighting games, and the most difficult barrier to learning is that they're introverted. So helping them could be challenging. And finally, the one we all know about, John. My John probably isn't as bad as your John, but they still share similar traits. They tend to blame the game for their own shortcomings. My John only tends to do this after a few games have been played and he starts to get flustered, while replaying the game in any capacity just stunts any kind of growth you could have in a fighting game. While my original idea for the concept of this video was to go straight into the philosophy of neutral, I realized that the more I went into it, the more I learned that it's too theoretical of a concept. And trying to teach people advanced techniques like conditioning is kind of irrelevant if they don't know what to do with their advantage. In the end, it'd just be easier to teach them a combo. But for the purposes of this discussion, I'll explain the idea of neutral. It's the state, at the start of the game, where neither player has an advantage. What do I mean? When one player has landed a clean, unblocked hit on the other, the player who landed the hit is considered to be in advantage state, and the other player in a disadvantage state. Any round you play starts in neutral, and the aim is to get into that advantage state. When a combo ends or is dropped, the game returns to that equal ground state. This is referred to as resetting to neutral. Now, I might not be the best person to teach a combo. I personally like to try and figure out combos by myself rather than try to look for tried and true combos. The result is that I do not do a lot of combos and more so end up focusing on winning neutral as much as possible to get my win. Any technical skills I do learn come from character combo challenges, often built into complex fighters. I'm going to say this once, and you need to listen to me. Do not take my example. The problem with the way I do things comes from being too stubborn to accept help with something I end up enjoying mostly on my own. It is completely counterintuitive to learning the game because fighting games struggle when it comes to teaching new players, and combo challenges often have to be close or completely frame perfect to actually work, and you'll just frustrate yourself trying to perform them, the opposite of your goal. You need to make use of the resources made available to you online, like YouTube combos. This advice is particularly important to my particular case of the John persona, because they will often refuse to on the grounds that they will never be able to do it. For those having those thoughts, discard them completely. When you play a MOBA, you Google builds. When you play a card game, you look online to see how to build your deck. It's that very same concept that you must apply to fighting games. If you can apply that amount of investment to MOBAs or card games, then there's no reason you shouldn't apply it to fighting games. Once you have found something you want to do, you need to practice it until it is fluid. You don't have to become completely perfect, but as long as you can pull it off relatively consistently, you should be good. This particular section shouldn't take long. 3 to 5 successful tries should be good enough. You should preferably be practicing a combo for a character that is simple to play or a combo that does not require a lot of complex inputs. Once you're done, take it to a live match. Your neutral strategy at this point is to get into an advantage state in a position where you can pull off the combo and let her rip. Do it until you can win. If you drop it, it's fine. Most of the time your opponent won't recover fast enough to respond. Just try your best to win neutral again and give it another shot. Once you feel comfortable enough with that, you can either stop there or it's back to the lab again to learn a new combo. To use the card game example again, you don't normally just stick to one deck. Most people use multiple decks, but there are one-trick pony. It's the same in fighting games. You can stick to one good combo per character, or learn as many combos as you want with the same character. That flexibility in playstyle is a perk of fighting games, and one every player should abuse in order to gain as much enjoyment as they can. While this isn't a be-all end-all solution to your loss streak against your vastly more experienced friends, hopefully it can give you an edge to use when you find yourself playing a fighting game against one of them. Sometimes even landing it once is enough to be satisfied that you're able to compete in that match instead of just being a punching bag. Hey guys, I'm Opic, and this is a new segment where I'll be mainly talking about my thoughts or advice related to fighting games, and how to have fun playing them. Fighting games are a passion of mine, and I've been waiting for a chance to bring them to the channel. This won't overwrite what I'm currently doing, so if you came from my Let's Improv series, we'll still be doing those. But if you want something new added to the table, you've got this to look forward to. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next round.